Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla TV, where you can watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Alpinestars Tech 7 off-road boot, available at RevZilla.com. So the Tech 7, new for 2013. This is a legacy product in the Alpinestars line. It's getting a complete overhaul, and we like what they've done. New for this year, we saw a brand new Tech 7, brand new Tech 10. The theme is low profile, lighter weight. The new Tech 7 is going to be 15% lighter, 3.5 pounds. They're shaving a lot down, and it's now lower profile. Before I get into any of the other changes, look at from the buckles to the side profile, to the toe, to even the profile coming straight on. You're going to see it's just much more streamlined. Even the interior here on the medial side, nothing's getting in the way of itself. Now remember, the positioning here on the Tech 7, it's a lighter weight boot than something like the Tech 8 Lite or even the Tech 10. There's no inner booty here, and it has that really short and low profile toe. A lot of guys on the Supercross side like it. A lot of guys that don't want any kind of mid inner booty like you'd have with a Tech 8 Lite, or a full inner booty with the dual hinge like you'd see on a Tech 10. They like that lineup of functionality. Now I will say, this is also one of the few pro-level boots, and I will say that's a pro-level boot because a pro would choose this boot based on its mix of features, sub $400. You know, from here you go into Tech 3, which in my opinion is a rock-solid mid-range off-road boot. But the Tech 7 has enough of the DNA of the Tech 10 and the Tech 8 Lite to where it really steps up into that next stratosphere. So let's talk about fitment before I get into all the rest of the changes and walk through it nuts and bolts. Fitment. Sizes, American size, no questions here. The footbed is going to be comfortable. It's going to fit an American foot. It's a shoe, so you shouldn't have any problems. And remember, guys, we do ship for free. Over 39 bucks. It's going to ship for free, no restock fees, and we're here to help you. Love to hear your gut reaction as well. Click here, subscribe to us on RevZilla TV so I can send you all the latest gear reviews we're constantly doing. But also, leave me your comments and your questions as I roll through this so you can get an idea and I can answer your questions about the different features of the boot. So let's dive in. Let's go from the outside in. We're going to focus on changes. First thing you're going to notice, completely redesigned buckle system for 2013. It was using cast buckles before. Now you'll see in the Tech 10 and the Tech 7, these are newer style. They're still set it and forget it, but the way that they work does two things really well. And you can see here, even on the instep, this buckle's on top so it doesn't get in the way in a crash. But the way that these work is you have these big, these almost arrowheads that slide through a huge loop. And what happens is they're self-adjusting. So there's room to wiggle, and they don't have anywhere to go. They almost fit into a wedge, so you can't screw them up. The nice part, too, is when they're caked with mud, it's easier to get your finger in there and work them. There's less small parts like you saw with the previous iteration on the buckles on the outside. You're also, underneath these buckles, you have a few other components pulling this boot together. You have a microfiber elasticated upper here in different areas, but the main construction of the boot outside of this suede area that has the emboss is going to be microfiber. Remember, there's 6 colors here as well. So that's going to be a synthetic leather that has limited imperfections, and that's how you save that 15% in weight going from leather to the microfiber side of things. Also, for the first time in the Tech 7, we're seeing that it's a single TPU piece that wraps around the heel, wraps into the toe. The toe is completely redesigned and reprofiled. Notice this TPU that wraps around the front of the toe into the shift panel here. So again, one piece pulling everything together, pulling the upper of the boot into the dual compound sole. And Alpinestars loves to talk about their soles because their soles rock. This inner area that's high grip around your pegs is fully replaceable, but then you have your main sole, which is a different durometer and hardness that gives you support that's going to offer you protection as well. Also, you can see as you move up the shin, completely redesigned on the front of the boot. Big, beefy, and it's shin protection, and rolling around with some of those external hard parts that TPU in the back gives you now the blade system, which we only saw on the higher end boots before, which guards against hyperflexion. So again, you have tongue and groove system that allows for comfort and range of motion, not going to get in the way of anything, but again, it's going to guard against impacts and hyperflexion of your ankle joint if you get yourself into trouble. Now, staying within that same theme, let's move to the medial side of the boot. Now we have a completely redesigned heat shield that also has a grip panel to it throughout. It's one piece. Notice the reset dual stitching, but now it's also hinged. Hinge there, so it's going to move with you, allowing you to get this massive panel to interface with your ride that also now has a hinge for articulation. So bravo, Alpinestars. It's a continuation on what you know really works at the highest level, and that DNA of the $600 boot is now making its way down to that $360 boot, or somewhere right in that $300 to $400 price range. Other thing you're going to notice right out of the gates, look at the top of this boot. Completely redesigned, again, on the Tech 10 as well. It's now soft at the top. It used to have a big TPU piece that was really heavy duty, and honestly, you know, you're always gonna put your pants in there, but depending on how you wear it and how you're built, it might get in the way at times. Now we're moving to a much softer interface with your body. It's an ergonomic and comfort feature that the top of this is just going to be set up to be a little bit more friendly. Now, when we think about, and I'm going to pull my sole out here, using a new style sole with different densities of material and shock absorption in the heel, you can see that. Let's open this bad boy up. So pulling my Tech 10 or my Tech 7 here apart, pulling out all my poison dart frog, whatever we're going to call these buckles, this new style. Notice multiple points and free-floating design, even in my shin TPU. That's done for flexibility. If it was one solid piece, it makes it harder for you to move with the boot, or really for the boot to move with you. So by doing that, you're adding flexibility. And I moved to the inside. It's not a waterproof boot. They never are in the dirt world unless you're going adventure. What it is a gaiter to try to keep some moisture and some of that incessant dirt out when you are riding for longer periods of time. Move to the inside, again, it's going to be comfortable. The top has been refinished, camber lining, it's wicking. It's meant to pull the sweat away from your foot out to the outer shell of the boot and evaporate it off. So as I put it back together here, one more thing to call out. You know, I've harped on a lot of the key changes here that allow you to streamline this boot, allow it to become lower profile, but one of the things that people don't realize too is in the predecessor for this boot, it actually had a multi-piece sole that was a stitch sole, and that would be interior of the TPU outer shell. By using a single piece bonded sole, that's really one piece of TPU that's molded with no inner stitch panel connecting this top to the bottom here, what they've been able to do is really completely shave down the profile of this boot. This is probably the most technical low profile boot in the A-Stars off-road line when you compare it to something like a Tech 8 Lite. It has that traditional sole, and even the beefier Tech 10, which is just a little bit bigger. It's a little more MX inspired. So I will say this, guys, the next step in your journey, put my sole back in there, keep it for later. The next step in your journey is to read other rider reviews at RevZilla.com. I can tell you all day long why it's different, why that's important, and what it's going to mean to you. But what you need to do is stand on the shoulders of my information and my knowledge and read other rider reviews at RevZilla.com, see how they're having a great experience with it. Click right here to do that. Remember, we ship for free, and we want to talk to a gear geek. Give us a shout. See us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. It's our job to be experts, and it's our job to help you out. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown for the new 2013 Tech 7 from Alpinestars. Off-road, lightweight, streamlined, and aggressive. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.